Hi, I'm Tom Dretler with Shorelight Education. It sounds like I don't need a mic. I wasn't cool enough to drop out of school. We've got the last two speakers who were cool enough to drop out. I didn't, but maybe, who knows? Some of the best companies have been built that way. I also love the humility that we see and the connection to making a difference for students and listening to Cindy talking about being a teacher, even though she's running this massive company. It's great when you have a chance to speak with after people who you really respect. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shorelight Education. I can see it here. I can't see it there. Okay. So at Shorelight, we work with colleges and universities to help them internationalize their student body and to help those international students to be successful at U.S. universities. We work with the large ones. We work with the big schools in the United States who are ranked 50 to 150 and have lots of international student capacity. We've done that very deliberately. There's 5 times more capacity with schools like the ones on the right side of the slide than there are with the top 50. So we've been very deliberate in that approach. What we saw when I was at Sterling Partners, when I was at EduVentures for many years, that there's been this incredible demand for U.S. higher education. It's resilient. It's Trump resilient. We'll show you that in a minute. And that there's never been more supply, seats of capacity at great American universities than there is today. But there was a problem. There was this sub-optimization that we wanted to fix. I think any entrepreneurial group, and I'm here with a bunch of my colleagues, always wants to solve a problem. And we were saying, we don't get it. There's something that's not connecting between all of these slots of capacity and this demand. And so we built a company 5 years ago out of Sterling Partners and a platform and a design to solve the problems and really connect the dots and allow international students and American universities to truly achieve global reach. And so through the 16 university partnerships that we've signed, we now have international distribution rights, global international distribution rights to 1,870 degree programs across those 16 universities. And we can deliver those degree programs to students in countries where our goal is 150, we're almost there. And we do 2 things. We bring the students to America and give them a traditional college experience, and we load up the content onto our platform, and we deliver it to students in the countries where they live and work. And so a simple way to think about how we do that at Shorelight is that there's 2 sides to our business. There's Shorelight on campus, and there's Shorelight Live. So Shorelight on campus, what you can see on the right, I guess it's the left side of the slide, is there's one of our students walking across LSU's quad. It's a gorgeous, quintessential American university campus. You could shoot a movie there about, American college, walking with 2 domestic students. There's a lot of students who want that on-campus experience. But yet, on the right side, through Shorelight Live, we're showing something very different. We're working with UMass Amherst. We're delivering an electrical and computer engineering degree program. That is a professor physically in Amherst, Massachusetts, using our technology to deliver a degree program to students physically in Shanghai. It's live, it's synchronous. These students happen to be physically at Shanghai Jiao Tong University, even though the degree that they'll get is from UMass Amherst. And this is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our business. And whether you're on campus or you're going through Shorelight Live, you're connected through our technology platform called the Shorelight Global Reach Platform. So we're helping students to research the universities that they want to go to. We're helping them enroll, which is not so easy as an international student to enroll successfully. We're helping them get acclimated to language and culture. We're helping them to complete their studies successfully and then to go out and get a job. And we're using tech-enabled services to do that. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that works. If we pan back a little bit just on the market opportunity and some things about the business, we think we're operating in an extraordinarily big market. It may be the biggest market opportunity in higher education. So there's $39 billion of spend, and that's just spend on students coming to the US today. And it's sub-optimized for all the reasons that I talked about, and it's growing at a really rapid rate. Second, we've been around for 5 years. We haven't, it took us a year to sign our first university, but we've developed some proprietary content and proprietary distribution assets. The 16 partnerships, the 1,870 degree programs, and we'll talk a little bit more about distribution, but whether it's digital, whether it's the 150 people that we have, going to language schools and high schools, the things we're doing indirectly. We have something that's very hard to replicate. And then, we're really, really focused on delivering to our stakeholders. So I think it was Cindy, somebody said like the teachers are the stars for VIP Kid. So for Shorelight, the students are the stars. The universities are our partners. We don't call them our clients. And our students are doing great, but we care deeply about our partnerships with the universities, and we're generating mission-driven incremental revenue to the universities. And I think for Shorelight, for our employees, for our shareholders, we're on the stakeholder analysis, we're doing really well. So, and then last, we just have some things about our business model that are really positive. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And I've worked in all different kinds of businesses. I think a lot of people have around here, and not all of us have the benefit of working with a business model that's elegant. And we have that at Shorelight right now. So if we pan back and just look at the market opportunity, there are 4.6 million students who are internationally mobile. That means they have decided to study outside their home country every year. And maybe it's surprising, maybe it's not surprising, 3.5 million of those 4.6 million students say that if they could study anywhere, they'd study in the United States. Great, but only 1.1 million of them actually do. And we think there are a number of reasons why that is the case, but we think one of the main reasons is that US universities haven't figured out how to roll out the red carpet for international students, and they really shrink the market by only really being able to market to the already prepared student, where at Shorelight we help them market to a different target student, a highly motivated, highly competent student who actually does need help with language and culture. And when you do a country-by-country analysis, you can see what the issue is here. So we have 21 million college students in the United States, and we're only 5% international. And Canada's 3x us in terms of international student percentage, and more than 4x for the UK and almost 5x for Australia. And we just say that's a sub-optimized situation. And like all good businesses, maybe we can do something about that. And that's what we intend to do at Shorelight, and we're starting to make a dent in that. We have a fairly simple, but we think effective three-pronged strategy to help us get there. We sign universities to master long-term contracts that give us access to all their degree program content. Then, importantly, and the second one is what really drives our growth, we launch high-demand degree programs over time. We don't launch every degree program at once. It wouldn't be, we couldn't execute correctly that way. It wouldn't be the right use of resources. And then the third, and this is really important, we are committed to a multi, if not omni-channel distribution architecture, which allows us to reach students all over the world through indirect, direct, and digital. So on the first point, and just in signing master contracts for universities, so the first thing is that our contracts with the 16 universities average 25 years in length. So they're long, and there's a reason, by the way. Everything we do is about student outcomes. We don't toggle back and forth between mission and margin. If there's one thing that I think made a difference for American universities was the harmony that we created between what the student wants, what the university wants, and all the ways that we'll measure ourselves at Shorelight. As we mentioned, we have exclusive rights to the content. But since we've come onto the scene in America, and I've got some of the companies, company 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, who are in the room, I've got a lot of respect for those companies. We don't operate outside the United States. Some of these companies are based outside the United States, are doing great jobs there, crushing it there. It's just in America, we were able to disrupt the market in our approach, and it was a very US-centric approach. So we have the most number of university partnerships. The trajectory is 4 a year. We have the best ranked university partnerships. We also have the largest, and that makes a difference because, you know, if we signed an Ivy League university, we would high five about it. We'd want to talk about it. We show the logo, but it wouldn't be a big growth driver for us because they just don't have that many slots. The second thing on our growth strategy is launching high demand degree programs. So we've got this massive library, 1,870 degree programs. We've launched a fraction of them. We're really focused. But just to give you a sense of how we use analytics and big data to drive growth, there was a 27% decrease, 16 to 17, of Indian students coming to the United States. Well, at Shorelight, we were up 80%. And that's because of the way we thought about launching degree programs that would specifically appeal to students in India. And you can see that we had nice distribution across India. And we're at 2x right now as we're heading into, you know, because we're pretty headlong into the fall 2018 intake. So we feel really good about that. And we just go to the content library, pull another degree program off the library, or 10, launch them up onto the platform, and that's the big growth driver for us. The first one about signing universities is more of the land grab strategy. And then the third, as I talked about, we're just all in on distribution. We have to be. You know, we benefited from the fact that we were able to sign some universities quickly. Those universities wanted results. We did the only thing we could do. We went to the agency partners dealing with 12th grade students. We tapped into them. We brought high quality students to our universities. Everyone was happy. Those students have done really well. But, you know, then we hired 150 plus people, going direct to high schools, going direct to language schools, cutting student flow deals with junior achievement and international baccalaureate and others. And we own US News Global Education. So we cut a deal with US News. We're all 12 million unique visitors from outside the United States flow through Shorelight. We'll send them to the best school for them. We don't just send them to Shorelight schools. But I'm the chairman of US News Global Education. I with integrity, keep that hat on. But if you're one of the schools that's rolling out the red carpet for international students, that's where we're going to send you. And so we've really made a significant investment. So then we get to stakeholders. And this is the most important thing I can say. We've had 5,000 students go through our programs, and 90% of them have gone from persisted from the first year to the second year successfully. That's 20 points better than the national average. We're thrilled about that. You know, 5,000 is statistically significant. 96% term-to-term retention, so that's outstanding. And then I think the student satisfaction part is really important. It's a quantitative measure of qualitative things. So, do you have American friends? Do you feel safe? Do you like the campus? Our students say yes. 92% say yes. And so we don't just want to support them academically, we want to support them socially and emotionally. Another really important stakeholder, although they are number 2, are our universities. And so we went to them with a value proposition that said, we're going to drive mission-driven incremental revenue. And so we said, look, your domestic students are going to learn in a more global environment. We're going to market your brand all over the world on our dime, by the way. This supports your mission of access. There's just nobody on your campus who's going to lose. And at the same time, if you want 300 incremental students per year to your university, $30 million of incremental revenue at maturity. 800, it'll be $80 million of incremental revenue to maturity. And we have 1 or 2 of our schools that are going to be closing in soon on $100 million. And so that's a needle-moving amount of money. And it's very unusual when you can do that in a mission-driven way where everybody wins. And then if it's going to work for the students, most importantly, and for the universities, second most importantly, it's going to work for other stakeholders. And so at Shorelight, you know, we're not, you know, that old, and we only have a few years of revenue, but we're a growthy company. And you know, last year I stood on stage, got a lot of questions about Trump, and I'm not trying to say it's not an issue and we don't feel it, but you know, I'm proud to say that a year later we doubled the size of the company in the age of Trump. We also have some just really good business model characteristics. So, Our fiscal year starts October 1st. We have 80% of our revenue, not visible, but locked. It's done. The fall intake's done. At this time of year, by mid-April, we almost are completely locked on our revenue for the fiscal year 18. Everything we're doing is about planning for fiscal year 19. And then we have a net negative working capital business model. We haven't raised capital since the summer of 2015. And students pay up front. A lot of our payments that are in arrears. There's just an elegance to the model that we're really proud of. I mentioned, never toggling back and forth between mission and margin. That's probably the number one thing I can say about Shorelight. The second thing I'd say is that part luck, part just thoughtfulness. We said we need super talent, but we also need a culture. We need a culture that we're just going to be really good at doing what we do, which is partnering with everybody, with universities, with agencies and others around the world. We really don't do anything by ourselves. We need to be open and transparent and collaborative by nature. We can't be slick business types. We've got to be the type of people you want to do business with for 25 years. And we're going to put the student first and foremost. And I'm pleased to see some of these accolades that come up, but I don't make a big deal about it. I put them on the slide because they say something, but it's really just to say that if you were to come to our office at Shorelight, what you'd see is it's just a bunch of people who are really excited about an opportunity to make a difference, build a great company, a company that lifts people up, and people are just kind of psyched for the opportunity that we've put in front of them. And for us, when we tie it together, we take what we believe is the biggest market opportunity in education, sub-optimized at $39 billion, should get to $100 billion in the not too distant future, especially when you add Shorelight Live and other componentry. Then we take a simple but we think powerful strategy of content aggregation combined with global distribution and significant investment in each, wrapped with a technology and services layer that will support the student throughout the student life cycle so that we can ensure success at each and every stage. And then whether it's the 5,000 students that we're serving today, 30,000 that we think is not too distant future, or 300,000, we get to do what we've always set out to do at Shorelight, which is to achieve student success at scale. So thank you very much.